Hey everybody, and welcome back. Right, well, not much to tell you before we get started this week. It's hot. It's going to be 86 today, 86 tomorrow. I think it was 80 yesterday, and then it goes back to the 70s, so that should be all right. Nothing special in the comments. I had one comment about the traffic, saying it seemed to be worse. And actually last week and this week you may find it worse, because our local town, Ithaca, which of course they call the city here, it's about maybe 20 miles away at the most, has two big universities, Ithaca College and Cornell, which is like a very expensive red brick college. And last weekend was Ithaca College's graduation, and this weekend coming is Cornell's. And when they have a graduation here, it's a huge thing. Everybody turns up and they have parties and what have you. So consequently, every hotel, motel, boarding house, in fact, Linda belongs to this organisation, and we have two couples coming this coming weekend to stay with us. They have, I guess, children, sons and daughters. They're not really children at that age, are they? They're going to be 22. Who are graduating. So that's why all the extra traffic comes from, because we're on the main road to Ithaca. So coming into one weekend and going out, and coming into this weekend and going out again, is incredibly busy and therefore noisy. Alright, that's all that's happening, so let's get on with this. I think we're going to do the rear mudguard first, then we'll drop the engine in, and then we'll make up a couple of cables. And I think I noticed laid down there is a clutch cable. It's an old manky one, but I noticed it's got a particular fitting on the end, so we'll be able to make up a new one from that. Of course, the lorries have nothing to do with graduation, but there you go. Alright, let's get stuck in. Alright, so I think we're going to rename this bike from Greeves Anglian to Greeves Annoying. Although actually it's not Greeves' fault this time. So I got the new better mudguard out. It's longer, but that's no problem. So the one I've taken off is this one's in bad condition. There's a mount back here, there's a mount up here, and there's mounts there. So that all lines up, touches, everything is really nice. So I was just going to overlay this on the other mudguard to mark the holes up, and then I thought, let's have a look at this. It's a completely different curve. So actually I noticed the old one is what would be classed as a C section. This one's battered, but it's more or less, you know, just the letter C. Whereas this is what is known as a D section mudguard. Well, for you it's going to be that way, isn't it? Because it looks like a capital D. It's got a flattish piece at the top. So I might even run this through the English wheel. There's a thought. Because if I run it through the English wheel, it will stretch it out lengthways, which I think is the problem here. Yeah, see that? Alright, so let's do that. Alright, I have worked and worked and worked on this. Had it too shallow, had it too steep, had it too wide so it wouldn't fit. And of course, the problem really, I suppose, is that mudguard was built, or was formed I should say, for a wheel with the 19-inch rim, the radius, not the what is that? The arc of a 19-inch diameter wheel. And I guess this one was an 18. There was no way I could get it to fit. So what I've done is I have cut it almost all the way through. Now I can put it up to there, put it up into that one, put it up into that one. I mean, it still doesn't fit exactly right. We're going to have to put some little spacers in. But I can mark this, cut it, and then weld it. And that's the best I can do. I definitely think these mounting points are for, you know, a completely different curve. So let me mark this and we'll go and do some alloy welding. Alright, that has got to be the worst piece of alloy I have ever welded. It's taken me forever to do that. I would get about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and suddenly it's black bits and the skin and horrible. Stop, clean it up, set going, 1/2 inch. Took me forever. It was really nasty weld. It's one of those sort of instances where, you know, oh, my welds are always perfect. I've got a grinder. So, as you can see now, it goes into here, goes into there, touches at the back. Still not perfect. We're going to have to put some little spacers in here. That will go straight in. This, where's the original one? Let's have a look at the original one. I don't know if this is being formed like this, but can you see? Yeah. The original one's flattish there. Wonder if I can do that. See what's what. Okay, so let me mark that there, see if I can bump that out a little bit or something, and then we'll get this one drilled first, I think, to hold it up, mark where the others are, get them drilled. That's take me all day. Oh, and if you're wondering why I'm wearing this big heavy coat when it's, as I say, hot, it's because when you're polishing with a polishing wheel, you get filthy. I actually wear a face shield as well, otherwise my face is black, everything gets filthy. Alright, let me go and do a bit more to finagle this. Alright. Drill the hole in the top, and I've used that as my sort of starting point. And then what I've done is I've beat down a little flat bit and marked that. So, where did that go? There it is. Let's bolt this on here. Had an interesting thing happen yesterday, which is why actually I had to knock off early, about 4 o'clock. Linda came in, she was mowing the grass on a tractor, and she says there's flames and smoke up in the trees near where the power lines are. So I went rushing out, and by then there was no flame or smokes, but I could hear crackle, 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 crackle. So I phoned the emergency line for the local power company at 4:15 and told them, oi, I've got flames here in trees right next to my house. This is an emergency. Right, they said, we'll have somebody there in 30 minutes. Right, I said, that sounds good. So I went outside to wait, and I waited and waited, and then I went in and had my tea, and then I waited some more, and at about 8:15, by now the flames and everything, as I said, gone. 8:15, I phoned up to the emergency line. Basically, the woman I spoke to then knew nothing about it. She looked in the system, nothing. So I was a bit annoyed. I sort of said, you know, hey, this could have burnt my house down. This is supposed to be an emergency line. So anyway, she said she'd get on to somebody. We go up to bed. I mean, we little old people, but about 9 o'clock. And we either sit and read for a couple of hours, or we have a digital projector that we stream into. Don't own the television, but anyway, we'll watch something for a couple of hours. So it's nice and dark, and I hear knock knock on the door. Go out. There's a fella from the power company. How are you doing? He says. Well, not very well, because my house could have burnt down for all, you know, you lot took your time. So he says to me, well, I've just been given this call. I was out in another one, I've come straight away. So when I told him that I had actually phoned at 4:30, he was gobsmacked. So I showed him where it was and all this sort of thing, and he sort of said, oh God, I can see where it's burnt those branches, and we've got to do something about this ASAP. So there you go, emergency line. That's on pretty good. That's on pretty good. And I wonder if I put a little dent in here. See that? Hang on, let me move you. Right, I don't know if you'll be able to see this any better, but when that's up, touching there, see, not only is there a gap, but this is at completely the wrong angle. I wonder if I could bend them. I've got, actually, hang on, zoom, an aerosol of the hammered enamel. I could just touch them up. Let's try that. Hum, hum, hum. So if there isn't a video next week, you'll know it's because the house burnt down. Do I need to... I need to bend that down right close to there. Don't I? And then maybe put a second bend in. Bend that like that. Like that. That actually even needs to go round ways a little bit. That's getting close. Close now. Let's just straighten that out, look. Bugger. We'll be just past. Hey, you little bugger. Let's try plastic bumpy hammer. That is so very, very close. I really do. I want to be able to bend it here, not there. But when I get this on here, it straightens this out as it starts to bend that. Hold on. Hold on. Just had some thunder then. See, really, I should have fitted these, as you know. I'm going to try and put a little dent in that to bring this up. And here comes the rain. I'm going to get soaked if it's doing this when I have to walk back up. That is about it there. So I've got the other side to do a little bit. I tell you what, I do not have the patience to do car bodywork. I watch Yorkshire car restorations and it's put it on, mark it, take it off, put it back on, mark it, take it off, put it back on. I mean, admittedly they don't have like 3 or 4 bolts to bolt it on each time, but even so. Right, let's mark this hole, drill that, and then we'll see what we can do. So there's that on there. This one's not far out. I'll slacken that off so I can get the thing on there. Hang on a minute. Hold your seat. Hang on, I'm going to put you on autofocus and lift you up. This probably won't work. There you go, see, we're not far off. Alright. More thunder, heavy rain. And look at that. That's what happens. Can you see that? That's alloy for you. Hopefully that's able to focus. And then I have to touch the camera, see. Alright, so there it is. Bolted on twice there, bolted on once there, bolted on twice there. It's not perfect, but you know, I'm not going to spend a fortune on this one. Well, I am spending a fortune on this one because I've got to rebuild the rear wheel. I've got 2 sets of rock shocks to buy, and as I say, the ignition is quite expensive. New piston, still not going to be cheap. But what the hell? Yeah, so there we go. And that has been such a tussle, what with the welding and all the rest of it, that I'm going to call it a day. And you may have noticed it stopped raining, so I might be able to get up to the house without getting soaking wet. Is that loose? Yes it is. I can actually take that off there. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? Alright, see you tomorrow. Alright, so here we go again. I've got the heating on because, although I told you it was really warm, this place cools down very quickly and I don't like being cold. So, let's see if we can drop this engine in here. And I just, that's, I think, no, that's not the clutch cable. Ah, that must have been a brake cable. Oh, so maybe forget that. Alright, I had a nasty feeling that, you know, as normal, when you go to put things together, they don't go and you've got it all painted. Now this engine cradle has a spacer welded onto there, there and there, and then when we put the frame in there was a spacer that went in there, but I still have a spacer. All the engine mountings are the same size on the casings. They're all 2 inches. Now that one is 2 1/4. Hang on, I'm sure I just... No, the back one is 2 1/4. Hang on. No, the front one is 2 1/4. And the underneath one is 2 1/4. That's 2 1/4. That's 2 1/4. That's 2 1/4. So I don't know where that goes. Doubtless we'll come across it at some point. And it's a 3/8 bolt, so it's not for the suspension, because they're 5/16, which surprised me. Alright, so let's see if we can get this to go in here relatively simply. Get this cable out of the way. That's the sort of daft thing. You work and work and work, you finally get the engine in, you suddenly realise you've trapped a cable underneath it or something of that sort. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll stick that up there, look, so it can't accidentally get trapped. And now this, luckily, it's not very heavy. Back one's gone in. Oh, where is it? Plastic bumpy hammer. Oh yeah, that's going in. Nice and easily. Alright. Let me stick some bolts in. I think I've got them put to one side, the original bolts. Tighten that up, and then I think we're going to have to make up, actually we'll go through the engine plate there. Thinking rather than putting some cable ties all the way around, because this is a grip thing, I'll just drill just a small hole, 1/8 inch hole, that's all. Put a small cable tie there. All that tucks in under there. We've got tons to come up here to the coil. Where does that go? There's another little wire and something else. Anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. So let me find these bolts. Right, I'm 1 bolt short. I got the front one in, and I have like 3 or 4 bolts there which I thought were the ones, but they're all about 1/4, 1/2 inch too short. But I've got one in the front, which I'll tighten up in a minute. Now here's an interesting thing. I'd noticed that one of them that I had in the thing wasn't a bolt, it was a stud. And with the chain case on, of course, you can't get to this engine mounting from that side. And with this sticking out, because of where the cable's going to come through to work this, that's blocking that. So that's what this little hole is for, look. And that's why, rather than being a bolt, it's got to be a stud so that it doesn't have a head on, because that goes through there into there, which isn't quite lined up at the moment. And I might get in your way here momentarily. So just that looks better. That is going to go in there. Hopefully, yes. Look at that. Goes right through there. Let's go to the other side. Then I can put the nut and washer on each side. So they'll do for now, because we only need in there to be able to put this on. Can we get at the... Wait a minute. How the hell do you get at the bottom one then? Don't tell me you have to take that off to put an engine mounting bolt in. How bloody stupid is that? Yes, you do. Unless you can just... reach up and put the nut on with a pair of pliers or something on the other side. Isn't that ridiculous? Because normally you'd have a mass of stuff on this side. So you can get at it from that side, I think, alright. So you've got to... But then you've got this, although there is a hole there. Where the hell is the... Yeah, you can just... I think, pair of long nose pliers, I can just get up into there. I'm telling you this and you can't see any of it. Ah, how annoying, how annoying. What I was saying is, the bottom engine mounting bolt is behind that. Now you can get at it from the other side, and I think this hole in this plate here, rather than being to lighten it, might be to... yeah, because there isn't a hole in the other side. That's to be able to get up there to put a nut on. Well, I suppose they thought their way through and came up with a solution. Alright, let me tighten these two up. And then I think we'll make some cables. So we'll do the front brake first, then we'll do the clutch. Now, as I say, there was a cable in amongst all the stuff. It's too short to be the clutch cable anyway, but also the clutch cable just has to have a ball end on to go into that arm. And this one isn't a brake cable, although it's got a clevis, because that is too big to go in there. There's the thing for that. So let us go and get some inner and outer and a clevis, and we'll see about putting that together. Right, well, let's see how much you can see, because I've got a sort of big enough to fit everything in. So, I've got the little bits. I don't like these, but the place I get my stuff from only does that type of ferrule. One in each end. I've also found a very nice clevis which fits on there. So I'm going to have to... I think I can put it... I don't think this one solders in. I think it should have a ball end on. So we'll put a ball end on and then pull it into there. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I will need a white marker. Because obviously black on black doesn't show up very well. So we'll do the outer first, and then we'll push an inner through. Get that long enough. Yep, there we go, that's working. Alright, so let's see, how is this going to go? It's going to go in there. Right, that's going to go on there like that. Then it's got to come up here. Should put that on this side of the tie down. Woo! I'll put you there for a minute. I think that's going to move, so we don't want it fastened down. These are squished down a little bit. We'll make it that just fell out. We'll make it about that long, I think. Right, let me go and cut this. Oh, good, that didn't disappear too far. I think that's good going that way. Or does it want to go inside there? Around the back of that. Although that's, see, that's, if I go around the back, what I'm thinking about is would it be better going like that? That's going to go up and down. Don't think that would get trapped. Would that give that a better curve? Or do we just want it to come straight like that? Tell you what I'll do, I'll just cut this a little bit long. An inch long, I think that's all we need. And then we'll decide on that. Alright? So let me switch you off. Right, so well, I've cut that. Do I want it to go that way or do I want it to go behind? Here's the thing, I've told you in the past about my look. Can't remember who did the original song, but a Cream song is, if it wasn't for bad luck I wouldn't have no luck at all. Born Under a Bad Sign is the name of the song. So I have this domino throttle from the other day when I was doing experiments with the Amel throttles. So let me check where this wants to be. This won't fit on a 7/8 handlebar. I've taken it apart. This part here is nowhere near 7/8. It just won't straddle it at all. Don't want to use them because they're rubbish. But I thought, I don't believe this. I probably got the only domino throttle cable ever manufactured that doesn't fit the handlebars. Alright, so do we want it to go that way or... How was I doing it? Through there? Get back in there. Don't like the curves in that. Yeah, I think that's nice. That's a nice curve. Right. So, that will go on there like firstly. Now we'll put some inner. I think that's the right size inner. Yes, tis. Tis. No, I can't get that back in there. There it goes. So, what time is it? 11:30. My stomach feels awful. Like I'm starving to death, and I had 2 big slices of toast. What is known here as Texas toast. It's very thickly sliced bread. They have this nice thing here, I must admit I do like it, called something toast. And basically they soak the slice of bread in beaten egg and then it's fried. It's very nice. You get it with maple syrup on it. Oh, that's long enough. Oh, and that went straight in. Reminds me of getting my stents put in. Although from the bruising in my groin, I don't think it went in that easily. Actually, it didn't even feel as if it went in that easily. I'm in the way, aren't I? Alright. So that is there. That's there. And that's not the right length, is it, that bolt? No, that's one of the short ones as well. Why I've got so many of them. Actually, I think what they are the bolts like the ones that go in the frame. Okay, so I'm surprised you can't hear my stomach rumbling. That's going to go like that. That's going to go in there. To about there. Right, so now I've got to cut that. You can get special clippers to cut this, but if you don't do it in one, it frays the ends and then they're bugger to get back together. So I do have a pair of sort of tin snips which are slightly serrated. Let me go and get them. Right, so these, you see, you can't see it, but on the inside of each blade they have like slight serrations which grip, because otherwise with this being round you squeeze it and it sort of rolls up that. You've got to get right in, you've got to get ready. You watch, it won't work now. That's fine. So that's going to go in there. Like thus. Bit long at the top. Alright, first things first, let me go and put a ball end on this end, and then we'll see about doing the barrel at the top. I'll go and get it ready and then I'll take you over there. Right, well I'll show you this, but we'll keep our fingers crossed because, as you know, of late I've had some real trouble getting the solder to stick. Now, so much so, what I have been doing is actually washing this with acetone first. I don't know what it is before I even use the flux. But anyway, here we go again. So I'll explain all this to you. I know people like to use solder pots and all sorts of stuff, but basically the ferrule's got a cupped end here. So I'll go right back to basics. What we don't want to do, or what doesn't happen, is we're not actually soldering the cable like that down into here. What we do is we open the end out so it looks like a tree, pull that into the cup so these things go all over. Then when you get the solder in, the solder goes round, if you like, all those branches and forms a ball in that cup, and it's the ball that can't be pulled through. It is soldered in, yes, the solder will run through and that all helps, but the main thing is that ball just simply won't pull through that hole. All right, so that's the first thing you got to do, is you got to open these out. Actually, when I'm down this end of the workshop, we're right near the door, you tend to hear the traffic even more. So you see how I'm opening it out. You shouldn't do it with fingernails because you always slip, and then the next thing you've got a hole up under your fingernail, which is painful. So I like to use just something pointy. You can use a screwdriver. Thing is to get them spread out, as I say, like branches on a tree. All right. Now then, as I say, as an extra measure, I was going to say I just had a brush. We're actually going to use some acetone and really clean these up. Shouldn't have to do this. Never have done it before. But as you may remember, the last couple of cables I've done, the solder just would not stick and flow down into the nipple. Alright, so there's that done. So the next thing we'll do is we'll put some, actually I could put that on with us, couldn't I? Bristles in it now. I don't know what the hell that is. Bit of solder. Now in a perfect world, because the solder will flow where the flux has cleaned it, in a perfect world you never get any flux on the outside, and then that way the solder never sticks to the outside of the nipple. But so now we'll pull that up a bit. I could do it with the screwdriver now actually. Let me switch you off a second. Right, push that up so we're more like that. That's another thing you have to be careful of. There's quite a bit of, because you're forcing it in there, there's quite a bit of pressure. It's really annoying when you go bonk and it comes off, and then of course you can't get it back on. We'd be lucky now because there's nothing on the other end. But, oh, that feels empty. Bugger. Keep meaning to get one of those little pencil torch things for this. So it's just like plumbing. You want to heat the thing up. See, there's the flux melting. You want to heat that up so that the solder actually, the heat of the thing melts the solder like that. Now that one worked perfectly. What the hell is that? We'll clean this top up. I can see it's run through, it's come out there. That is perfectly soldered. See, it's come out the bottom. Top's full. Alright, let me clean the top a little bit. Now what we're going to have to do with this as well is grind the sides a little bit, because this is bigger than that. So we just have to take a little bit off so we can drop this down into there. So let me do that. So there we've got that tidied up and the sides flattened off. There we go. I just clean up the bottom of this clevis a little bit. It's clear of the pin, but of course the arm that the pin goes through is a little bit bigger. This wants to drop down into here a little bit more. Next stage, got that all done so it fits in there. Actually, this was far less than 1/4 inch hole, but now we'll feed this up through there again. Catches on something in the handlebar lever. Then put that in. Right, now we can go to the top. Now we come to the top. Where are we? You know, I've got one of those boxes with all the little compartments in, and they're full of all sorts of nipples. And I don't have any solder on barrel nipples. They're all the type with a big hole so that you use one of those little ones on the cable and it goes in there like that. And that goes in there. So I'm looking at this now. That seems to me pretty good because I've got adjustment up here and I've got adjustment down there, and that's about right going through this. So let me go and do the other end, making sure that I remember to take that adjuster off the brake plate because that's got to stay on the cable. This is fine, this just comes out of there, and then we'll have that done. Well, I've got that done with only one minor mishap, which wasn't a huge mishap, but I'd got the end all frayed out into the little barrel thing, and then I didn't pull this barrel far enough down. When I was finished, I'd soldered that one, the little one, into the big one with it sticking out. So I just heated this barrel up so that solder melted and tapped it all in, so everything should be good. So we'll put this end on first. So that goes in there like that. See, I didn't say thusly then. Oh, hang on, let me go and just tap a little dimple into that to hold it onto the outer cable. That's not the outer cable, is it? It's whatever they call it, the outer sleeve. I'm back. Alright, put a dimple in each side so that doesn't move on there. Here we go again. Right, so that wants to go down into there. That wants to go into there like thus. Let me move you down to the bottom. Now, if we've done this right, which always is a big if, that goes in there like that. That should go on there like that. Then we'll take up a little bit bottom here. Screw that lock nut on. Again, I'll tighten all these up, don't worry about that. Don't send me comments, oh you forgot. Well, these camera batteries don't seem to be holding as much charge as they used to. Wasn't expecting that one to pack up, but anyway, you saw that end was fine. So this end, we can make an adjustment or two. There we go. Alright, let's have a look at the clutch cable. All right, we've got to go onto that arm through that hole. So hold on to your seats a minute. I have brought my box of bits, see? So I say all those, and I didn't have that one I wanted. So what we're gonna want is something like that to go in there. I might have to make a little. Have I got anything bigger than that? Lots and lots of ones for. They're all handlebar ones. You can't see that, but you can maybe hear me rummaging. They're all handlebar ones. See, that's a bit of a loose fit. That's the thing we want. And we want another one of these things. Yeah, and that fits perfectly into there. So we're going to have one of those on each end, because we're going to have to use that. With another one of those to go on the handlebar end. So if I've got, these are, I think, these are the brand new ones I bought. Hold on a second. Right, you know, somehow I've got some 8mm nuts in the little drawer with the 5/16 UNF. So like, I just pulled one out there now, and I'm thinking to myself, that's funny, why won't that go on? So anyway, as I say, these are just as a brand new from Barnet. I could put one in for a lock nut on the other side, like that. But the other side isn't flat. But that, no, I see that doesn't. I think we're going to have to make a little sleeve to go in there. My God, it doesn't half going to have to be little. Let me switch you off again. Right, I wondered for a moment there whether that hole was just big enough to put a helicoil in it, a 5/16 24 helicoil, but it's too big. So it is. It's hard to get, really difficult to get at. Pretty sure that's about it. 372, and this is 306. So that's 66 thou. That's 30 odd thou. Yeah, I can make a little sleeve to go in there. So let's do that. Let's get a piece of 1/2 inch alloy round. Turn it down to fit in that with a little mushroom cap. We'll put a bit of Loctite on it, and then we'll drill it to be that 5/16 size, that 306. Alright, let's go and do that. Right, well, I was looking in the scrap and I found this little piece of 1/2 inch, which is just right to go in there, look. When I looked at the hole, I thought, my word, that hole looks like about the right tapping size for 5/16 fine. So I tapped it, and what I'm going to do now is screw it onto a 5/16 bolt to act as a mandrel, and just turn that down so it'll fit in there. Alright? Alright. George came across, so I got another history lesson of everybody that lives in the area. So I've turned this threaded piece, it's got a little collar that fits out there. It's could done with being a couple of thou bigger, but put some Loctite on it. And that will be fine for what we want. Right, we'll let that dry up, and then we'll see about the cable. Alright, Loctite set up, so I'll put that in. Actually, there was only, because of the length of this, I only just got it in because the hex head on the adjuster is slightly smaller than the hex of the lock nut. The lock nut wouldn't go in, so I had to screw it down a little bit. Then I got it in. So anyway, so I've already fastened the little ferrule thing on that end. It's got to go up there. Let's feed this. You know, that hole is for cables. I don't know if it'd do any good for this cable. Going down like that? No, I don't like that. Put the throttle cable through there, but that's about all. Okay, so we're going to put it through the forks. Then it can go down there. Into there. It's like this. Do you remember the C15? How awful that was. Alright, and see, that'll go right on top of there. There. So about there, hopefully. I should put this up on the jack so I can swing the fork. So that, oh, I think I'll do that without falling over. Let me move this and go and cut this and go from there. Yes, these batteries are definitely past their best. I'm onto the red light already and I've only done a few minutes video, so I'll have to buy some new ones. They're not cheap either. Alright, so I've put the ends on and cut that, and now I've run the inner through, so it's just going to be mark it, cut it, put the told you all this, haven't I? Put the little end on there. You can't see it too far away. And then put the little end in one of these bullets, barrels rather. That's more a bullet, this is a barrel. And that one's done. So let me switch you off before the battery switches you off. Bummer. See if I've got enough electricity to show you this. It's all done. I nearly made a complete pig's ear of it. I was just going to solder on the other end, and then I remembered I had to put that on. It's ironic, isn't it? I tell you about it and then I forget. So that there like that. It's not bad. Alright, that's it for today. Actually, I don't know what else I'm going to get done this week, but that's definitely it for today. Right, well, just did the video and I see you've already got an hour of me. That's more than enough for 1 week. So we'll call that it for now. We'll just get on with stuff next week. Thought what this cable is off. You may remember this bike's got a rod to the back brake. The other bike had a cable operated rear back brake, and that's what that's off. So that solves that mystery. Okay. See you next week, I suppose. So until then, you stay safe and enjoy yourselves.